he's an extraordinary actor and he's an extraordinary person and he's game. But we kind of just dove in together and he just was such an incredible partner to have because he'll try anything. He's so egoless. He also loves it so much. Like we both loved it so much. And that's so special when you're on the same page there, because then you can just really like take it super, super far and feel comfortable to try anything. And yeah, it was great. I'm so grateful that I've gotten to work with him and know him because he's very special.
Hi, Cristin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We are doing so well. We are so honored to be talking with you today. We're such big fans of yours, and you're so incredible in this show. You're absolutely just a force in this. So congratulations on it.
Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
Of course.
Absolutely. And before we even kind of touch on the Penguin, I think we need to first address the fact that Palm Springs is one of our favorite movies of all time. We watch it almost every day, I think, at this point.
I feel like we watch it way too often than we should.
This week alone, we watched it 3 times.
We're living in the loop.
Yes, we're
living in the loop.
Thank you so much. I mean, that means so much to me. That's one of my favorite things I've ever gotten to do. And that movie really holds like a very, very precious space in my heart. So I like love when I meet people who I love it as much as I do.
That's amazing.
I love that movie too.
That's awesome.
We're so glad.
We're so happy to hear that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's great. You know, I'm like so honored to have been a part of something like that. You know, it's the type of movie that I grew up watching.
Yeah, very unique.
Yeah, I know.
It's in our Letterboxd top 4. So
yeah, that's what matters. I love that. That's very meaningful to me. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. Cristin, just switching back over to the Penguin, how does it feel for you? This has been a project that has been in the works for a while. Obviously, we're huge fans of what Matt did with the Batman in 2022. Yeah. How does it feel to now have the world meet Sofia?
I mean, in this moment, I'm like so excited, but also absolutely crippled with nerves because I think when you really care about something, and I really care about this show and I really care about this character, you just want people to also care in a good way. And like, so I'm excited, but I'm also like nervous.
Of course. But I think they're in for a treat every single week with this one. So it's
thank you.
It's incredible to see just the arc that your character goes through in this show. And it's it's going to be fun to talk about every week.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was I feel very blown away by the fact that I think that's also like one of the more positive aspects of a limited series too, is that we get time to show that arc. I mean, I got to play so many different things and sit with her for so long. It was like a dream.
Yeah, I think you're definitely going to be getting your flowers episode 4 come around. Like people are going to be the internet is going to go on fire with that episode. So yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
We have to talk about like
it's an early episode. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool episode.
Thank you. I think it's very cool too. Yeah.
What was that first kind of meeting like then when you met with Matt and Lauren to kind of talk about this character? What did you guys discuss and what was making you really fall in love with her?
I'm a huge Batman fan. Like I've wanted to be in this universe since I was a kid. It's like of the superhero worlds of the comic book, but like this is the one I have always like just put right into my veins. And so they reached out and they said, they're doing this series about the Penguin and there's a role in it and they want to talk to you, but they're being really secretive about what it is. And so they just want to Zoom with you. And so they sent me the script for the first episode, which there's a lot in that episode about her that leaves a lot of questions, even though it's like such a cool way to introduce her. And so then I just was given that and nothing else. And then I had this like 2-hour Zoom with Matt and Lauren and Craig Zobel. And I talked to them about why I love Batman so much and why I loved the movie and why, like, what my little thoughts were about her and my little like instincts. And then I thought it went so well. And then I didn't hear anything for weeks. And I was like, well, damn. Like, I just was like, okay, I must have. And I was so sad because I was like, wow, that was so, that was exactly the type of thing that like they told me little things in that meeting that got me really excited. And yeah, so I was really, really sad. And I think like 4 weeks passed by, like a pretty significant amount of time where I was like, okay, they obviously went to like, someone else. And then they called and asked if I would, they were like, can you come in 2 days and test with Colin? And so they flew me to LA and I tested with Colin, and it was so nerve-wracking. And then a couple days later I got the call, and I, just freaked out. I was beside myself. So it was like, it was a pretty actually, like, in retrospect, smooth process, but not without its like I had an emotional roller coaster for sure.
Yeah, of course. When you're waiting, especially, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
They were circling Meryl Streep for the role, probably. And,
that's right. Yeah, exactly. They were checking avails left and right. Yeah.
Well, how did you feel though when you walked out of the Batman, when you first got to see that movie? Like, what was, because you are a big Batman fan, how did you feel about that experience?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I thought something Matt did so beautifully, and I've always loved this about Batman. I think this is also one of the other things I really like about that universe is I think there's like such a fine line between Batman and his villains. And I thought he really blurred that even more. You're watching Robert Pattinson, who I thought was so brilliant, like alone in a cave, listening to Nirvana. He has this makeup on, and you're like, oh, this person's possessed. He's completely possessed by this need for justice. And then you see Zoe's Catwoman is completely possessed. Like, everyone's possessed. It's like this, it's this Paul, obviously, too. You're just like, oh, this is what unites them. This is why it's sort of interchangeable. And like, obviously we root for the type of justice that Batman is fighting for, but everyone is out there trying to right a wrong, a perceived wrong. And so like, I thought that was so well done in that movie, where they were all sort of kindred. Like, everyone was at home making their own costume, going out into the night to like just wreck stuff and try and feel something. And, obviously Colin is like so brilliant in that movie. That car chase scene is like one of my favorite car chases in recent. I mean, I don't even know if you can call it a car chase sequence. Anyway, I remember being on the edge of my seat, and also like Batman's entrance when he enters into the subway, and you're like, what's gonna happen? It's just like it's I just loved it.
You're making us love the movie even more.
Yeah, like, let's just all watch it right
now. Can we pause the interview and just put it on? Like, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. Oh my God, the whole sequence with Peter Sarsgaard.
Oh yeah.
In the church. Like, there was so much because I think another thing I really love about it is that I love that no one has superpowers. So it's always felt somewhat real, even though it's like heightened. And I also like really love that it's like a little campy sometimes. Like, it's like feasible almost.
Yeah.
Even though it's like dialed up to an 11 out of 10, whereas in other superhero universes, it's still, you still go for that ride, but you're like, oh, I don't know what it's like to like zap a thing with my eyes or whatever. And this feels like that scene with the bomb around his neck, like that felt so real.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and
I loved it.
We were lucky to talk to Peter about that scene a couple months ago, and he's just like, yeah, like that was like one of the craziest nights ever working on something like that. And I think,
I bet,
I mean, you even looking at, Colin in that film, and when he makes his entrance, I just love to know, like, when you were doing that screen test with Colin, was he in full makeup? Like, what was your reaction to seeing him?
He wasn't
in that?
No, he wasn't. Not for that screen test. So that was also very surreal as well. Well, like, that was a wild day. I was so nervous. Oh my God. Like, absolutely shaking.
Do you remember your reaction when you finally got to see him on set in full makeup? Like, what was that reaction like for you?
That thankfully was not when cameras were rolling. That was not a day of camera tests for like different hair and makeup and wardrobe and all that stuff. And they like brought me to set, and I saw him far away in front of the camera, and I was blown away, because I think the day before we'd had like a rehearsal where it was like just us in person, like talking and blah blah blah, and like it's incredible up close. It looks so real. And it feels real. In that first episode I give him that sort of like Corleone kiss on the cheek, and it feels real. Like it's so good.
It's incredible work that Mike Marino and his team do for that. What was it like working with Colin to figure out what their relationship was going to be like in the show? Because you really are incredible together in the show. It's amazing to see, like, just as soon as you like that first introduction, I'm like, I know so much about your history without having seen it yet.
Oh, thank you. I love to hear that. I mean, he's an extraordinary actor and he's an extraordinary person and he's game, but we kind of just dove in together, and he just was such an incredible partner to have because he'll try anything. He's so egoless. He also loves it so much. Like, we both loved it so much. And that's so special when you're on the same page there, because then you can just really like take it super, super far and feel comfortable to try anything. And yeah, it was great. I'm so grateful that I've gotten to work with him and know him, because he's very special.
We love also the look of Sofia in this show as well. Like, she has such a swagger to her, and it's like you're kind of always on your toes when you're around her. And then when we get to episode 4 and we get to find out more about her, what is it like kind of creating, and how much input did you have in like how she was going to look, what her mannerisms were, her tics? Like, how much did you kind of develop that on your own?
We were all very in lockstep together. So our fabulous hair and makeup team, our wardrobe designer, Helen, we felt very like, I came in with certain ideas about her hair, like wanting to be something very feral, but that could be put up around her family, but something that felt like animal a little bit. And then, with her makeup, that obviously goes on a real journey and became about like what is like the war paint this woman would put on. And this is the world she's from. She's from a world where like the women can only express themselves through their makeup and their hair and their clothes. And that's like what they're expected to be concerned with and nothing else. And so you're like, how does someone who goes through what she goes through with the tools that she was given growing up, like how does that morph? And so we were all really on the same page, and especially like the wardrobe, showing like little peaks here and there. And then as she becomes like more and more free, and as she like steps into this version of herself, like how balls to the wall can you go with her clothes while also being like fabulous, and like how this person would become a villain and how she would dress and like what her armor is. And I mean, I was obsessed with it. The song was very, I felt very it was a big collaboration, and I was so excited that they were so open to that too. Like, it felt like a constant conversation. Like the eyeliner that she wears in 4 right before she like absolutely burns it all down. I was like, I wanted something that looked like, like war paint, or like something that she would use as like a almost like camouflage or something that like would also like really that's made a sense of occasion out of that dinner. And so like, I put in that idea for, whatever that crazy eye makeup that she's wearing. And, we all just really, we all built upon each other, and it was a great team, and we were very much on the same page about all of it, which was great.
That's amazing. I mean, you're living in a world where people are dressing up, so I think you have to act accordingly too. I'd love to know, just for yourself, I know music's a big part of your life. Your Bon Iver cover, phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you
We'd
so
love
much.
to know. Oh, of course. We're full of compliments today. We're Canadians. We're super nice. I'm just curious for yourself. Like, were you ever like creating playlists of music?
Yes.
Like, for your process for this, like, what does Sofia's world of music sound like that was helping you get into this character?
It was very Rosalia and SZA heavy.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then some Lana Del Rey in there as well. But it was like a lot of Rosalia and SZA.
That's wicked.
That's awesome. You'll have to drop the playlist afterwards, so we all could
really
get into that mindset.
And it really
That's amazing.
Gets you there.
Thank you so much, Cristin. This has been a blast talking to you.
And the show. Thank you so much. What a pleasure.
Honestly, we can't wait to talk to you again, and we really hope that we can just maybe sit down and just talk all about Palm Springs one day as well.
Yeah,
love it. Would love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the release.
Okay. Bye.